my session today focuses on the issue of English language as a means or and not an aim. And in my talk, I'm going to touch upon a few things of how you can improve your English at High School of Economics. What opportunities the university provides, and then I'm going to share with you a success story of one of my colleagues, and I will round up my presentation with strategies for self-development while learning English. First question: what is the most difficult thing for you in using English? Right, and what is the most effective way to learn English? So as far as I can see, that the first question, what goes first? Okay, correct use of grammar. Oh yes, for Russian learners, for Russian speakers, it's a grammar. We are obsessed with grammar, right? We want to know everything, right? Every single rule. If we want to learn articles, okay, every single article we must know, right? Every single use of the articles, right? That we should know. Probably we are the most focused on the grammar nation of learning the English language, right? It has its pluses and its drawbacks, of course. The drawbacks, I think that we Russians and Russian learners of English, we forget about the function of grammar, that the main idea of the grammar of being understood, right? Okay, and sometimes it impedes our communication as I don't know which tense to use, whether I should use a or the, right? Okay, so that's why I'd better be silent. Yeah, not the best option in learning the language. Right, so still, of course, but grammar is important, right? It's like a form where we put all the words and then we structure our phrases and use them in discourse. All right, then what goes second? Okay, so what's improving pronunciation? Yeah, pronunciation. Yeah, so we are a bit of different, right? In terms of pronouncing words correctly, and that's why it's sometimes rather challenging because we don't have some sounds like the, right? Okay, so it's do you remember your school lessons and your teacher? Oh, please say thank you, not thank you, not thank you, right? Okay, so it was quite a challenge, I suppose, but still, right? Okay, so with pronunciation, of course, the more you listen, the better you can get the pronunciation. You can tune into it, right? Okay, so understanding native speakers codes also, it's one of the most popular answers. Okay, yes, understanding natives, it's a nightmare, especially like when you see people from regions, right? Not from London. Oh, London is still a problem, right? Okay, so what I know from my experience and experience of learners is that they're quite okay. You know, I understand German people speaking English perfectly. Okay, so Spanish people, no problem. Italians, French, sometimes a bit of a problem because of their own accent, but okay. But then it comes to natives, oh my gosh, right? All these Cockney accents, all these things, all these regional accents, they're a bit of a nightmare, right? Okay, so what's your education? Education, what's that education? Maybe you mean education? No, I mean education, right? So it might happen when you come to Scotland, whatever. Yes, improving pronunciation, understanding natives. Okay, then when I see what's not so, expanding vocabulary, right, and public speaking takes the third and the fourth place respectively. So expanding vocabulary. So here, yes, think that it's not a big deal to gain vocabulary in terms of passive stock of your words, chunks, and collocations, but they use them actively in your speech, right? That might pose a problem. Yes, public speaking. Public speaking, it's a mixture of language skills and, you know, some psychological things, but probably we might experience it when we speak our native language, right? So it could be a problem. And I see that the least problem you have with reading professional literature. So I suppose that you've done lots of reading, and English is one of the means that you use to get information and be and be in touch with the latest research in your sphere. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. What is the most effective way to learn English for you? Right, okay, let's see what goes first. 71%. Wow, it's watching films in English. Example, Netflix. Okay, HBO, Netflix. I think it's a great way. It's a great opportunity for you to improve the first listening skills, of course. And what makes it easier, what eases the understanding is, of course, the opportunity to watch, to read the subtitles, and subtitles should be in English, of course, if you do that. Yeah, because you might hear a word, it might be an accent, and you might not quite understand that. Okay, subtitles, okay, helps us, rectifies the problem. So reading different genres, yes. Okay, so pleasure reading, I call it pleasure reading. Like find your favorite author, read it in English, read him or her in English, right? So that so you will enjoy it much. Okay, so different genres, not only professional literature, right? So whatever, nonfiction. Okay, so classics, anything like that. Okay, then goes what next? Okay, you using language apps. Oh, of course, it's one of the, so you know, it's the second, sharing with the reading and the different genres, right? Using apps, we have lots of them. I don't know, for everything, for grammar, for vocabulary, for listening, for reading, right? So lots of them, and of course, we are very techy right now, and I think this pandemic situation made us be even more techy, right? So before, right? And oh, surprisingly, attending language courses, right? Okay, so someone voted for that, and now it's equals with the rest too. So attending language courses, I adore this. Okay, so I mean that's learning language in group. I think it's one of the best options ever, as having it one-on-one learning. Of course, it's quite useful. It could be focused on your necessities, on your needs. However, being able to communicate within a group, okay, makes learning process much more fascinating, much more interesting, much more enjoyable. So that's why attending language courses is one of the best options for updating your skills. So doing online exercises, right? So grammar and vocabulary. Yeah, that's what it's one of the pluses, right? It's what we have, what we can have, right? So online exercise is quite handy, right? Okay, you're traveling, you're commuting to work, right, or back, and you're doing, and they give you the results, and you can have a look at feedback. So if you are not very sure about your grammar, or you want to mug up some vocabulary, right, of course, it's one of the best ways to do that. Yes, and unfortunately, I didn't scroll down till the end. Having Skype lessons with a native speaker. Yes, again, technology, right? Skype lessons with the speakers English, native speakers. Okay, so they often ready to help, right? Okay, to help you practicing, right? So that's why. So it depends, right? So a native speaker, sometimes, right, it's not the best option. It depends on the level, it depends on the goals that you set to achieve, right? But still, it's rather good to maintain your level, or to master some to master it for up to the professional level. Okay, good. So we have this picture. That's nice. Let's remember our answers, and let's go ahead. Okay, so then, okay, so then you want to start learning a new language, or upgrading your skills in a language that you already know, right? It's important to ask yourself just one question: why? Why do I need it? Why shall I learn it? Right? And here we talk with you about target needs. Right, so target needs. Here we go. So why does one want to learn a language? Why does one want to learn a language? Of course, there could be different motives which can stand behind this wish. Right, so getting published, why not? Okay, so I'm working in the the research university I have an interesting research I want to share it with the world. I want to get published, and to get more readership, right, I need to do it in an international language, of course English. Yes, then you have your research, you've published it, and you want to expand it, to extend it to the international level. Of course international research collaboration is needed. So, and here you need to have great communicative skills, great speaking skills, and of course it could be one of the triggers for you to learn English. Conference presentations, right? Okay, so if you want to take part in a conference, of course, in an international one, they usually require like your ability to speak and to present your ideas, your research, and your findings and results in English. It could be a motive, yes, it could be a target need. So I want to have a good command of English to be able to present what I have found, right? So in my research, international English certificate. Yeah, you want to set a goal, and so I want to prove that I know English well. So I want to be not only like approved by those who listen to me, who interact with me, who say, "Oh, you have nice English. Or you have nice English, right?" Okay. What about international certificate? You can pass an exam and get the certificate proving your skills, right? And there are lots of different certificates like FCE, IELTS exam, or TOEFL, right? So they're for different purposes, but still they're recognized in most countries in the world. So first we talk about the target needs, right? What do you need English for, right? That's the question that you should ask yourself. Unfortunately, or fortunately, no one but you can answer this question, right? And in order to achieve the goal that you have set, you have to be aware of your starting position, of your point of your journey, right? And here we talk with you about present needs and lacks. What is lacking in your English, right? So present needs, lacks, wants, or as they're called, felt needs, right? So what do I feel I need? Okay, that's the starting point, right? And here you can also, we have seen it with you, right? So grammar was one of the most popular answers, right, in our poll. So improve your grammar. Yeah. Okay, I might not know all these 12 basic tenses that I need to use. Okay, to tell you the truth, you don't need all 12, right? So my if clauses are a bit rusty, or I don't know, articles is my weak point. So yes, so you need to improve this. All right. Okay, enrich vocabulary. You can think, yes, I'm good in speaking in conversations, but then I do some writing, so it's not that straightforward and plain, and it's not, that's upper level as I wish it were. Okay, so improve your listening skills, right? And you need to listen to native speakers, or you want to attend lectures, or you want to attend conferences. Of course, speaking, especially when it's not supported by visuals, like I have it right here, right now, right? So it's very sometimes it might be a very challenging task. So improving listening skills might be the starting point for you, right? And here, unlike identification of target needs, here we can rely on certain help that English language teaching provides you with, and these are called placement tests, right? They have been evolving all the time, right? And with all this technological craze, foreign language skills assessment has become quite advanced, right? So it's automated, machine-based, and this is no longer an obsolete 100 multiple choice questions on grammar and vocabulary. No, of course. Now, leaders in English language teaching, like Cambridge, Pearson, right? They offer you advanced tests which assess your listening, reading, writing, and even speaking skills, and we do it automatically, right? Computer-based assessment. And they also highlight your sore points of your grammar, and they measure your vocabulary bank, whether it's passive or active. Okay, so to name just a few, so go ahead and check. So it would be Cambridge placement test, Pearson placement tests, and Academic Writing Center has a number of resources for that as well. As you might have already noticed, High School of Economics that doesn't stand on the sidelines of English language teaching. It contributes to the professional development of its employees and staff in terms of English language competence. So here I would like to highlight just three main options that you have here at High School of Economics to improve your English. Right. First, I will talk briefly about professional development courses in English, which is offered by our professional development department. Right. Then I will talk about Academic Writing Center seminars, courses, and individual consultations, and to highlight it just here so that HSE staff is now has now been an opportunity for Coursera courses, which are for free for us, right? And have one which I recommend is Speak English Professionally in person, online, and on the phone, right? So feel free to use all these resources and links as soon as you provide us with feedback. So a bit more detail on that, and all of this free. Okay, so let's start with High School of Economics Professional Development English courses. Here I should say that it's for our staff, for our employees, and I myself teach there and give courses at different levels, right? And what do you usually start with? First, you have 5 levels and 2 tracks, right? So what you start with usually it's a placement test, right? To identify your level of English and to be placed in the group which will meet your needs, right? And as far as you can see, that the first 2 groups, I don't think that's for you. However, so we have elementary and pre-intermediate, and after that, they are split into 2 groups: English for academic purposes and for administration, right? And they go here as intermediate, upper intermediate, and pre-advanced levels. So it's the invention of this very department, the pre-advanced level. So it's just upper, a bit upper than upper intermediate, right? But not advanced. Okay, so here we can have a view of the following, right? Okay, so what do we do there, right? As I myself, I teach there, right? So I can tell you what are the main approaches to that. And the first thing is communicative approach to English, to teaching English as a foreign language, right? So we often forget that English, that any language is for communication, right? It's not just, and learning a language is not just learning words, it's not just learning grammar rules or how words are being pronounced. It's to be able to communicate in a given language in a certain situation, in real life situations. And that's why if we discuss with you in this course some grammar or vocabulary, be sure that it will be used later in a speaking activity or writing activities, that you will be communicating there using active vocabulary of the lesson. Of course, as I understand, Russians are learning English with Russians is impossible without grammar and vocabulary. So grammar is absolute must. Of course, we use a number of resources, and we use some authentic Bibles, right? So this, as far as you can see, probably you are familiar with all these books, right? So English in a Vocabulary New series, and Essential or English Grammar, Advanced English Grammar Use. Okay, so Ryman Murphy, it's one of the so the Bible of English grammar, I should say. So yeah, we do it, but again, we do it on purpose, right? So in order to improve our communicative skills. What's that? Of course, we use my grammar lab. So this one, which I adore as well. Here you have online support with the teacher. You're going to have at the class. You can have extra exercises with video content and so on. So it's magic to round up, to brush up your your grammar. What's more, Quizlet, thanks goodness we have this tool, right? I think it's one of the best applications ever to use to learn to master your vocabulary, right? And a teacher can organize their class and add all the words, all the collocations that were used and discussed in the class, so in order to for you to remember, okay, to master and to improve, to enrich your vocabulary. And you can also use it independently, right? So creating your own sets of words that you find useful for you and for yourself. Speaking, right? So what we do in our classes, we interact a lot. I organize students into pairs, into small groups, into large groups. We have with them role play. We role play real life situations, and we also have debates and discussions, and we also imitate a kind of theater play sometimes, so that you feel free to communicate and not be afraid of talking, right? So it's a communicative approach. Then you're learning a language in a group. Yes, you have okay, so you learn how to interact and how to communicate, how to listen to the others, how to understand the others, and how to express yourself more clearly. And what's more, so what I've noticed is that what my students are lacking. So so I'm talking about that employees, right? So who work at HSE, listening skills. And here I can recommend two great resources. So it's a series of books called Streamline, so Destinations, Connections, and Departures. Small dialogues on real life situations. And what I do, I use this old school method. Yes, sometimes I opt for old school methods as I was taught when I was studying English at university. Then you listen to a dialogue, and you have to glue yourself to your chair and write it down, right? So hearing all the words exactly for how they were said, right? So describing it and writing it down. It's enhances your listening skills abilities. And BBC Learning English, so it's for grammar, for vocabulary, for listening. So they have special courses designed for that. So grammar is very well explained. There can be some there are mini TV series which you can watch, and they are especially designed for the learners, so that they repeat lots of phrases. They introduce new vocabulary, right? So that you can use. So that's what we do at our professional courses. Again, so please find it. You are given I will give you the link. No worries. So this is the website. Okay, so that's English courses, right? They have already started. So this there are two calls, right? The autumn call and the winter call. The one in September and the one in January. So the next one I think will be in January. So if you want a course, right? It's for free, right? So if you're working at High School of Economics and you're full-time employed, okay, so you can apply, okay, pass a placement test and enjoy collaborating and learning English with great teachers and good colleagues. Okay, excellent colleagues, right? Okay, so yep, okay, so Academic Writing Center, right? It's great opportunity for us to use and to enjoy it, right? So it offers a number of events and opportunities, right? So for example, as we is what we're experiencing right now, is the Academic Writing Center, right? Welcome Day, where we give an overview of all our activities and what you can do, how to improve your English skills and so on. They also provide Academic Writing Center also provides you with a number of workshops and seminars, right? So they can go offline and online depending on the pandemic situations, of course, and the seminars which will facilitate your understanding of main aspects of academic writing in English and research activities, and they touch upon various topics from academic grammar to the use of punctuation, from academic vocabulary to speech practice, from research methods to effective online teaching in English. So, and what I personally like about these seminars and workshops is that they are practical. So they ask you to do something, but you are involved in the activity. So you don't just sit and listen to a lecture. You are doing something, and by doing we teach, and by doing we learn, right? And what else? So courses, right? If you're eager to have some more systematic approach to language academic skills, Academic Writing Center offers you a series of courses which focus on different aspects of academic English as well, but they on a more regular basis, and they run for about a month or maybe two, right, depending on the length of the course. And the main focus is academic writing, but it can be also for a course of lecturing in English, right? Now they're turning to the apple of my eye, right? So that's what I appreciate is one-on-one individual consultations with experienced proofreaders who are mostly native speakers, right? Most of them are native speakers. If you completed your research and you have your research written in the form of the article, for example, you feel free to come in to register for online consultation, and the proofreaders will go word by word with your text, explaining you, so suggesting improvement, explaining you the things which are wrong, or praising you for having a good command of writing English. Last academic year, I personally used this opportunity a lot, and working closely on the text which we prepared with my colleagues for the course book for our students, right? The next activity, it's 5 o'clock tea at Academic Writing Center. This is a new format, right? So, and they're going to introduce it, right, in a couple of weeks or months, I suppose. So let it be a mystery. So please stay tuned and follow us on Facebook, or visit our website, right, which you can see on the slide as well. And the icing on the cake, right, so last but not least, is the international conference to celebrate the 10th anniversary, right, what Natalia has announced just before our seminar, right? So with lots of interesting speakers and fascinating activities, I'm sure you will enjoy it. So that's all for the opportunities, I think, right? So now I would like to share with you the success story case which I myself have had a hand in. Back to 2012, I suppose, the year I started working at High School of Economics, and I also started conducting courses of English at for HSE staff, right? And in my class, I met a very interesting and really motivated colleague, right? So whom you can eventually see on the photo, Professor Kirill Rashkov. At those times, he wasn't a professor, right? So you see, he has built quite a career, right? And he told me that he really wanted to learn English, and as he needs it for professional development. Oh, you are a rather ambitious person, I said to him, right, Kirill, right? I thought at the time, yes, okay, quite ambitious. And just look at what has he achieved, right? Being able, in 2012, being able to say, hello, my name is, and I'm sorry I'm late for the class, Konstantin. Okay, so to his 5 main landmarks. Of course, his first strive, his first trigger, his first target was get a paper published, right? And he said, okay, so I needed to prove it to myself that my topic is interested, and he's in marketing, a professor of marketing, and in place marketing. He said, I have a new idea and a new concept of starting places and how they are used by different users of a place. I think that might be interesting for I'm sure it might be interesting for our foreign partners. I said, okay, let's have a look at it. Right, and working hard, and in 3 years' time, so he had the paper written, proofread, and published. Right, so of course, then he went to some conferences and was noticed by his colleague, and he had an idea of international research collaborations, right? And he invited some colleagues from Spain and Poland, right, and Norway to take part in cooperation and to extend his theory and try it in different countries, right? And then, okay, so improving his communication, improving his speaking skills and communicative skills and organizing skills, he invited a lot of people to HSE to give lectures, to give talks, to give to conduct workshops. Very prominent researchers in the field. So he contributed a lot to the academic exchange and academic collaboration of his department, school of business. Right now, I think that's how it's called this, like this right now. Then more than that, look at this. So he was dreaming of getting published, and then after a few years, he was offered, right, the position of being a reviewer, right, of one of the peer-reviewed journals and books, right? So he himself was regarded as an expert, as a leading expert in the field. And okay, so not only just English was appreciated, but of course mainly his his work, right, in the field. And I think like half a year ago, he was offered being a guest teacher, right, a guest lecturer abroad at the University of Amsterdam, give a series of lectures about the place marketing and place branding in Russia, right? So that's a remarkable story you see from "Hello, my name is" to international acknowledgement. So let's look deeper into this case. What stands behind this success? When Kirill came to me after one lesson, he said, "Konstantin, I like your classes. I started okay, appreciating the lessons and the English language, right? So then I want to improve. I want to continue. So what I need to know is, okay, once again, target and lex. Let's start with this. Okay, so target, as I already told you that. So it's only you who can decide that. So target, it was okay. So his publication in English and international collaboration is what he was striving for, what he needed, and what he was, I don't know, really interested in. And then, okay, we, with the help of mine a bit, okay, so we discussed his lacks. Okay, being Russian, non-systematic grammar. Okay, so as he said, you know, I'm sometimes failing in the use of tenses, in the use of articles, or so, or whatever. Right? I said, okay, so it's okay. So as soon as you understand your weak points and you can work on them in the context, right? So in the context, so let's arrange a series of steps that you can take in order to improve, to fill this gap. He also complained about the limited range of vocabulary, so which is he was at the pre-intermediate level, so it's P1 level in Common European Framework of References, right? So and of course, like working with we call it general English grammar, right? So collocations. So we then switched to the target specific vocabulary, right? So then I asked him to read papers in English, to underline it, to use Quizlet in order to have this, to organize your own vocabulary, your own dictionary, if we can say, of terminology that you need. And of course, English academic style is the thing that he was also worried about. Is that, you know, I have no experience of writing English. I have no experience of giving an academic talk in English. He said, okay, so let's go like step by step again. So it won't be just like a click, right? And okay, I know how to present in English, or I know how to write in English, academic paper, no. And probably the most difficult thing for him was, I have this speaking barrier, right? He said, I remembering my school teacher right in the Soviet Russia and the Soviet Union. He said, okay, so you just need to learn grammar. Until you know all the rules of grammar, you can't speak. So that's nonsense. It took me a while, I don't know, like a month to just explain to him that if you talk and you make mistakes, it's okay. It's normal. We even in Russian, when we talk, we make mistakes. When we write, we can make mistakes. It's okay. So you are understood. Okay. So people will correct you if they want. If they don't want, they won't. Okay. So they will understand. So speaking barrier was the starting point for our collaboration and breakthrough in his way to success. And I suggested for him a few tips, right? So I said, surround yourself with English and never surrender. All right. So to break through, right? So to start talking, to start speaking in English, right? Okay. So a few strategies. So speak English at home. It could be whatever. Like so, if you are married, okay, talk to your wife or husband. Okay. So start learning English together, right? Is what Kirill did. He engaged his wife and said, okay, so I have interesting English lessons. I want to share it with you. Let's learn it together. And they started to simple talks right at the table. Could you pass me some sugar, please? A bit of salt. Let's all that stuff, please surround it with yourself. Speaking English at home. I also had a practice of that, that after 1 year in France, it was with French. I came back and I had no one to talk French with me at home. I was that much disappointed, and I started talking to my cat in French. So just saying him French phrases, and I think that after 2 months, he was a bit like A2 level in French. He understood like some comments, right? So come here, please. Okay, so drink some water. So yes, so it was. So yes, find someone to talk to. Talk to yourself in English, right? Use sticky notes of what surrounds you, right? I think it sounds a bit crazy, but if you have stickers, right? So put them in everything which surrounds you: wallpaper, cupboard, a bookshelf. I don't know. So put it could be a pencil, okay, bottle of water, right? Whatever. So everything must be made in English. Yes, I know that it sounds crazy. I know that it sounds weird, but if you surround it, you will pick up the ordinary language, the common language, which the everyday language, faster, right, and more unwillingly, with less effort, which is usually takes you away. I take a list of words and okay, I try to remember everything. No. Use interface of your computer and your mobile phone, right? Okay, so what you will find that a lot of interesting things, right? Okay, like I don't know, flight mode, screen mirroring, and notification pop-up, unmount CD card, SD card, right? So all of this. But one tip: please back up all your files on your phone or computer before you start using it in English. Okay, so just in case, backup. Okay, so that's it. Surround yourself with English. Then take a course in English, right? It could be any course. It could be a course at HSE, right? It could be a private mini group course, like so you and your friends find a tutor and you collaborate on that. So language should be studied and taught in a group, right, as you communicate. What helps you to improve is write learner's diary. That's important, and that's really useful story, especially for those who surpass like intermediate level. And you know that what I notice and what I know for sure is that when you start learning English, your progress is going up like exponentially. Oh, I did read, now I read. Okay, so but then you reach like B1 plus level, okay, approximately B2 level, you start noticing that your progress has has slowed down, right? Okay, what's wrong? It's probably you are full of all this grammar, you're full of all these words, okay, and you need to keep that learner's diary. You need to track your progress by yourself, because it's not that obvious as it is at the elementary or pre-intermediate level. So write the in-class activities that you have done, or out-of-class activities, how you used English outside the class. Of course, we are living in Russia, right, and we don't have this English-speaking environment. Like it's unlike in Germany, not so many people speak English in the street, and you can't address to everyone. So you can also write about your problems in English and work on them. And most important thing, what I have learned today, right? So exactly, so what you have learned. So it will help you to keep focused, right? And it will help you to feel the progress, because a lot of people drop out just because they stopped feeling the progress. What else? Surround yourself with English. Make your English hobby. So I like football. I watch football only in English, right? Okay, so of course it's very difficult to watch Russian football in English for two reasons: because it's Russian football, and because it's impossible to find like English commentators so commenting Russian football. Still, if you like any other, so I like Formula One, right? And I and my son watch it, right? So in English only, right? With all these chunks, vocabulary, and technical terms, right? And so make your hobby English, right? Okay, so I mean, so turn it, so read some websites about your hobby, or communicate with foreigners who like the same thing. Subscribe and listen to news, right? Okay, so CNN, BBC, whatever, so TV series, podcasts, YouTube channels, and Facebook, different Facebook accounts. BBC 6-minute English, highly recommended. Okay, 6 minutes only, and you will get upgraded of vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and any other skills. Now, what else, right? So it could be used. Okay, so and anything. So and they have BBC Learning English is also a great source for that, as they talk about grammar, vocabulary, and they give you etymology of words. What's the difference between land and borrow, for example? So, some tricky questions. What I like and what actually stimulates me to follow them is they have uh, this kind of section, right? So which is called the questions from our subscribers, right? So you can ask a question if you don't understand some rule, and they will answer it, right? For example, can I say you and I going to use this going to conduct this survey, or you and me? What's the difference, right? They provide you with quizzes, so lots of things. BBC Learning English is a great source to improve English. So that was the first thing that we've done with Kirill. I said, like, so you should break this barrier. You should start speaking. You should surround yourself with English and talk as much as possible, right? And then, okay, after that, so then when we put him as on this rails, right? Okay, so we came to this so individual strategies. I said, now we shall work with you on your target, right? On your target. So, and first of all, so working with dictionaries. I suppose that you know some, but there are lots of there is learners dictionaries like Oxford, Longman, Cambridge, and Macmillan Dictionary. While learners dictionary, it's not like we have Dal or Ozhegov, right? Okay, so it's not that you open and you have a definition only. No, a learner's dictionary, it means that they explain you pronunciation, they give you collocations, they give you some common mistakes that learners make, right? Using this word, they give you lots of examples, they give you some grammar peculiarities. Okay, so please use them. There's a great online collocation dictionary called osdic.com. Okay, you just type a word and you see all the collocations, all the adjectives which are used, all the verbs or I don't know, adverbs which go like with this word. Thesaurus and corpus, of course. Okay, so it's to highly recommended to use thesaurus. Key gives you synonyms, right, for the words that you need to use through your writing, and you don't want to use it all the time. One word, like the same as corpus, and corpus is a great tool of finding the use of words, actual use it, and you can also use the different corpus. For example, you can select technical one or economic one, and see how this particular word is used in these contexts. Then working on academic English and style, right? So I said, Kirill, okay, so that's okay, that now you can speak English freely. Okay, you still make mistakes, but it's okay. You can use dictionaries, but still, let's work on your academic English, right? And suggested a few books. I have a reference page in the end of my presentation, so you will be provided with that. So academic English vocabulary and use, great tool about all this, like cause and effects, about reporting the other's words, how to make references. All this is included there. So vocabulary, academic English vocabulary in use, great book. Okay, so there are also like Cambridge Academic English and extended writing and research skills. So that provides you with the idea of different types of writing, of academic writing in English. From thesis, and what's the difference between thesis and dissertation? What are the different types of project proposals, of how to write an abstract, how to conclude, how to make reference, how to annotate a piece of reading that you do. So there is a whole system of how to annotate a book or an article, right? So what you're looking for, which words should you highlight, and so on. Reading and annotating articles and organizing your own dictionary, right, is what we did with Kirill. I said, you're interested in place branding, in place marketing, you should go to the library, right? So great resources here at HSE, find the articles, read them, and you should analyze them in terms of language they use, in terms of structures they use, like do they use passive in their writing, or do they use I, or do they use we? Then they talk about their findings, like we have conducted research, or I have conducted research, right? So that sort of thing, right? And here I said, like 1 week, 1 article, 1 month, 1 book, right? So it was a goal for him, and he was reading. He was upgrading his reading skills and building up his vocabulary. What else? Of course, he asked me to help him with proof speaking, right? As he was invited to participate, to give a talk at a conference. As you know, I'm afraid, I'm shivering, I'm trembling, right? So, okay, so can you help me with that? Okay, no problem. Let's talk. So please talk to someone and give a presentation. So first, it will help you to check the time limits, right? Okay, and also it will help you to feel comfortable and less stressed while presenting to the others in English, because you have already rehearsed that. And one of the stories, you see examination boards. You know that bachelor students at High School of Economics, they have to pass this exam, which is called the defense of your project proposal in English. It's usually for the 4th year students, and it's usually in the end of March or in the beginning of April. And I said, Kirill, you must take part in this. You should be an expert in this examination board. Go and sit there. So ask questions. Okay, ask tricky questions. Ask your students tricky questions. Listen to what they say. Ask for clarification. Ask to explain things. Explain things by yourself if they don't know. So please do. So that was working on his academic English and academic style. And then I said, Kirill, I can't be always like by your side, okay, and being like anytime, Kostya, I need your help. No, I'm not Ben. from Bradva, right? Okay, so I need help. No, okay, so I said that you should be autonomous, you should be independent learner, and what you should strive for, right? Okay, so in my theory, you can be you can learn English in group or so up to like upper intermediate level. After that, it should be autonomous learning. You should develop yourself and find the strategies. What's that? Your English daily routine. Again, you should do something English. Okay, listen to the news, listen to the professional podcast, writing an article, reading a book. So your English daily routine. So your English should be a part of your day, 1 hour a day at least. Right. So that's I don't know. So Facebook feeds. Okay, so please follow the pages of your hobbies or the pages of your professional interests on Facebook in English. Read them. It will be enjoyable. So one-on-one Skype lessons is what I've told you, and you opted for when we organized a poll, right? So that's with native speakers. Yes, when you reached this intermediate, strong intermediate or upper intermediate level, of course, Skype lessons. It could be two ways. First, you just go and talk, right? So any topic, or the tutor will suggest you topic, and you just maintain the level. Or it could be professional talk, but here I can find one obstacle that not every native speaker is interested in what you are researching, right? Yes, and we had this rule, a page in English a day. So I said that you start your day with writing a page in English. And first it could be anything. It could be a page of your diary of what you have done, right, the previous day. It could be a piece of poem, right, in English, or and then we smoothly switched into writing an academic text, right? Okay, so that was about, okay, so first it was some proposals, some abstracts, right, and then like step by step, we reached the level of writing a page. So you write a page and then you improve it. So that's autonomous learning, autonomous studying. So that's what we have done. So you see that in 10 years time, yeah, it seems impossible until it's done, right? So if okay, if one can do this, I don't see any obstacles that you cannot do this. Okay, so I inspire you to do this, right? And coming to the end of my presentation, I would like to give you the references to the books, right, for which I've mentioned, right. So in my presentation, they're mainly about English academic writing and academic research skills, and about vocabulary and grammar. So what you might lack, okay, and more than that, right? So resources, right? Okay, so that's so online dictionaries, also some apps which are useful, like Quizlet. I told you, Grammarly, yes. Okay, Dmitry, you see your friend, right? Okay, yes, we also use it. I hope I'm okay and I'm lagging with Zoom. Okay, so that's what English Banana. So it's perfect for grammar and vocabulary. Mendeley, it's a resource which we use to organize references and resources in the end of our article, right? It does it automatically and perfect in APA style. Englishgrammar.org, right? So learn English at .britishcouncil.org. So it's perfect for any type of skills that you want to master. Okay, again, reading, listening, writing. So they have lots of resources. Okay, so please go there. So they have a very plain explanation. Okay, so, and BBC Learning English, I've already told you that. I think that I would like to conclude with is that I would like to say just one phrase, right? So love English and it will love you back, right? Okay, so I think that's a motto that you should follow. So English is not that monster, right? Okay, as it has been painted. Yes, thank you so much for coming.